Okay, well, I put this off long enough, so getting back to it. So this phone actually works now. So the last one it didn't do so well. Is that what my face kind of looks like? Okay. Alright. Alright, well, back to Son-in-Law Discord, Chapter 7. Or Son-in-Law Discord by Disney Fanite 2364. The chapter is Chapter 7, The Search. Sorry for the long wait. I wanted to get my Nutcracker story done. I thought I'd be finished with that before the holiday season was up. Oh well, better late than never. A few hours later, Fluttershy, Sadie, and Twinkle were standing at the castle entrance to see Screwball, Twilight, and Mothball off. You sure you don't want me and the girls to come along? Fluttershy asked her friend. It'd be like old times. I appreciate the offer, Twilight said with a smile. But it'll be enough of a shock for Bellatrix to see a princess of Equestria. But all the bears are the elements of harmony? She'll think we mean her harm and run before we get a chance to talk to her. Besides, a lot's changed over the decades. We all have families and responsibilities now. Which reminds me, she knelt down to her daughter. You be good now, sweetie, okay? Twinkle nodded over her hooves and glanced sideways at Sadie. I will if he will. I'll only be gone for a few days. As soon as we find the princess and bring her back to our hive, I'll be right home. If you get lonely, you can always call me on the magic mirror. Oh, Screwball! Fletcher exclaimed. Do you have to... Screwball smiled as she flashed a smile into her hoof. Roger! Her mother kissed her on the forehead. You sure you're ready for something like this? Get real, Mom. Martha and I defeated a whole changeling army. How bad could find one changing princess be? Now, if you run into any carnivorous creatures along the way, relax, Mom. I'll do what you taught me. Flashlight grinned and gave her daughter a hug. Then she did the same to Mothball. Take care, she whispered. I will, Mom, he replied. Scribble looked at the door and saw Disco moping on the couch, his back turned to her. Dad? She called softly. He gave no response. Fluttershy looked back at him and sighed. He's just concerned for you, you know, she told her daughter. I know, Scribble said with a sigh. I just wish I hadn't yelled at him. Can you tell him I'm sorry and that I love him? Fluttershy nodded and kissed her daughter one last time. Good luck, sweetie. She and the foals waved at the traveling party, and as the traveling party took to the skies, Twilight withdrew the glowing brush from her saddlebag and waited for it to point the way. When they were out of sight, Twinkie yelled and spun around. You pinched me! Sadie let out a snicker, which made the young Alicorn fume in fury. Why, you! She lashed out her hooves at him, which forced Fluttershy to step between them. All right, kids, she commanded softly. Why don't you go play in the ball pit? If I hear any funny or dangerous use of magic, I will not hesitate to have Discord send you back to your bubbles. The foal shrieked and zoomed upstairs. Fluttershy then looked sympathetically at her husband, flew over to him and sat down. Screwy's sorry, you know, she said gently. And Sheila's... I heard, Discord mumbled, trying to face her. How come you're not worried? Usually when something like this happens, you're fussing over everybody. I'm very worried, honey, but one of us has to keep a level head here. Besides, Screwy's a grown girl. Not to mention she has your power. She's perfectly capable of handling herself. He huffed. That's not the point. She prefers that walking ball of Swiss cheese over me. Sweetie, you know that's not true. I'm sorry. It's just that my little Screwy's growing up, and Fluttershy laid a hoof on his shoulder. I know. Lots of changes happening, and you're not ready to let her go yet. Discord, just because Screwy's growing up and starting a life of her own doesn't mean you stop being her father. He sighed and said nothing. Fluttershy lowered her hoof as a new thought came to her. How are you feeling, by the way? Cross, Discord growled. I thought that was already established. No, I meant about Chrysalis. He paused. What about her? Well, despite everything, you seemed quite shocked when you heard she was dying. You said she used to be a friend. Fluttershy, I know it is in your nature to sympathize with all living creatures, but this psychopath tried to kill you. I succeeded for that matter. But I'm alive now, aren't I? That's not the point. It's just the beginning. She stopped at nothing to destroy my happiness. What? She's the very reason I came to question what man I was turned to stone and met me. Yeah. He stopped and looked at her as realization came to him. Fluttershy smiled assuredly. If you want, you can go see her. But, he started to say, it's okay. I won't mind. But, we hate each other. Then now's the best time as ever for you to top any loose ends that remain between you two. He stared into his wife's eyes for a long time and then sighed. As always, you're right. When Disco flashed into Chrysalis's bedroom, the chain she's guarding her bared their teeth. General managed to protect him in front of his queen. What are you doing here, cat scum? Dr. Clunk folded his arms. I question eyes with Queen or Insectrac already Aquarius checking the door. You're not welcome here, you cur. If you don't make yourself scarce by the time I count to 5, we'll have no choice but to... It's alright, General. Chrysalis commented hoarsely. Let him approach. But your majesty, if you already have a deathbed, what more can he do to me? But leave us. The Chimchies hesitated, but obeyed their queen's command. They shot deadly glances at the Draconicus before departing at the door. The judge did not leave his spot. That includes you, Mantis, Chrysalis heaved. But my queen, go! I'll be fine. Mantis opened his mouth to speak, only to be interrupted by his queen's warning glance. He hung his head in defeat and followed the others out. When the door was shut, Discord and Quiz were left alone for the first time in over a millennium. So, she said, smirking slightly, have you come to gloat? Perhaps put me out of my misery? Actually, he replied softly and slowly, I've come to... talk. She snorted. Talk, eh? Well, I must say it's been a while since that's happened. You remember the last time we just talked? On that cliff. The two of us. So young. Disco turned his back. Those days have long since passed. But you have forgotten them, have you? I certainly haven't. The past is the past, Christmas. I shall came to make amends. Really? She said, raising an eyebrow. Well, I must say, it took you long enough. Why the sudden change of heart? He faced her again. Luckily for you, my wife has a very forgiving soul. You remember, don't you? The one you nearly murdered? Did I? Well. You sure know how to pick him, Dissy dear. You mean to say this pony is not even enough forgiving for trying to destroy her? Discord pounded his fist on the bed. If you insult my wife again, I will make your death come sooner. If you really are here to make amends, you're not doing a very good job of it. He took a deep breath and retracted his paw and claw. Right. Well, for starters, I can cure you, she hoped. Yeah, right. Even if you could, why would you do that for me? Well, the most messed up mayor I've met. But you're still the mother of the boy my daughter's gonna marry. Chrysalis rolled her eyes. Go on. Just try your chaos magic on me. Disco snapped his fingers and waited. But Chrysalis didn't look any better. He snapped again and still nothing happened. She shook her head with a sigh. It's no use, old friend. I'm magically terminal. No spell in the world can cure me. Don't even bother trying. My time has come. I'm dried up. Gone. So if you have nothing else to say, leave. Disco sat out for a moment, then turned his back again. He raised his claw to teleport himself away. Dissy? Chrysalis called weakly. I just want you to know. I didn't want to send you away. It was my mother's idea. He lowered his claw and sighed. That's all right. You know, in a strange twisted way, I should thank you. She raised an eyebrow again. Really? He turned his head. Had it not been for you, I would have never met Fluttershy and found my happiness. Also, by having Mothball, you provide my daughter with happiness too. Chrysalis groaned. In that case, my plans to destroy you clearly backfired. They couldn't help but chuckle a bit. Nicholas looked up at him with sad eyes. suppose that things had been different, you and I could have. Disco thought about it for a moment, and then shook his head. No, I wasn't in a place to love anybody. But maybe, if we had tried hard enough, we could have been friends. She sighed. Even then, that wouldn't have been enough. He shrugged. I'm sorry. Oh, well. She heaved as she closed her eyes. Guess some things were never meant to be. Disco watched as she fell asleep and thought about the young princess he had met long ago. He hadn't forgotten that night on the cliff. He was still thinking about it when he teleported home. Go on, Chrissy, Queen Arachne said as she stretched on the throne. Show Mummy what you've learned. Princess Chrysalis closed her eyes and concentrated on the most complicated creature she could think of. Soon enough, green flames engulfed her as she began to change form. Her hooves became paws, her fangs grew a foot long, her head enlarged into that of a tiger. Arachne's eyes widened as a head grew from her daughter's tail, and another seemed to be developing on her shoulder. When the flames diminished, a tiger ghost snake Chimera stood in Chrysalis' place. Impressive, Arachne said with a smirk. You've certainly been practicing. Chrysalis breathed as she returned to her young adult self. I learned from the best. Oh, yes, her mother said as she walked towards her. You are ready, my dear. Ready for the throne? That too. You see, I have a special mission for you. What is it, Mother? My scouts tell me that the young princesses of Equestria have befriended a young monster with powers beyond anything they've ever seen. Chrysalis stiffened and whispered, Discord? Yes, Arachne growled. It would appear our little pond is getting the royal treatment from those ponies. If they don't start hitting him soon, he'll never be motivated to take Equestria for us. So, my dear, I want you to go see this Discord and find his weak points. Surely there's something we can use against him. Me? The princess stammered. You want me to see him? Oh, I know how you've been pining for that creature. I've seen you sneaking out trying to catch a glimpse of him. Well, my dear, if all goes as planned, you can have him. After all, with his unique power, you can create the most powerful changing race in history. Chrysalis was excited. Not about the power, but the idea of getting the creature she had been dreaming of for the last decade. After going over things with her mother, she buzzed out of the hive. On the borders of Equestria, she found him sitting on a cliff. In the town below, a parade was in progress, and he was making fireworks appear in the sky with a wave of his paw. The changeling's heart beat wildly as her eyes beheld him. He was taller, at least a foot more than her. His neck was now as long as a giraffe's, and his body as skinny as a snake's. The white hair on his head was thinning out, and a deer antler and goat horn had sprouted. When his head turned, she could examine his profile. His face was longer and thinner, and a small white goatee had grown on his chin. She had thought of him cute before, but now he was as handsome as ever. Then she ducked behind a tree, contemplating how she was going to approach him. She licked her hoof and used it to straighten out her mane, and then dusted the grime off her body. Then she decided to have some fun with him and took the form of a manticore. She jumped out of her hiding place and roared. Disco spun around in surprise, but narrowed his eyes and stopped his fingers. Chrysalis shrieked as she was turned upside down. No, wait, she said, changing back to herself. It's me. Disco squinted and gasped. Chrissy? The princess yelled as she was dropped to the ground. The Draconicus approached her in amazement. Is it really you? Chrysalis looked up at him and smiled. We should stop meeting like this. He laughed as he helped her up. What are you doing here? I came to see you, she said, nervously rubbing her for her leg. I missed you. He blinked. You missed me? She nodded. Uh-huh. I would have come sooner, but Mother... Oh, it's okay. I get it. So, how are things? I hear you're doing quite well here in Equestria. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Come, look. She blushed as he grabbed her hoof and led her to the cliff's edge. He snapped his fingers and made more fireworks appear. You see? He said, pointing to the sky and then the parade below. The princesses are letting me help out with festivals and natural disasters and stuff. I can use my magic and no points criticizing me for it. The fireworks are my favorite thing to do. They are beautiful, Krista said. Oh, just sit back. You ain't seen nothing yet. He set them both down and waved his glowing paw. Chrysalis gasped as one firework took the form of a dragon that began flapping through the sky. It then breathed fire, causing several oohs to erupt from below. As the show went on, Chrysalis turned to Discord. His smiling face was glowing with the flashing colors he was creating in the sky. In a moment of boldness, she closed her eyes and slowly leaned her head onto her shoulder. Discord looked down at her in confusion. What are you doing? Nothing, she said, quickly sitting back up. He glanced away awkwardly. So, Chrysalis stammered, if you play such a big role in this parade, why are you up here and not down there with the ponies? Disco sighed sadly. Unfortunately, not every pony's used to the way I look. The princes are okay with me, but... She looked in sympathetically and touched his paw. He glanced down at her as if the action were alien. But you at least have some friends, right? She asked. Yeah, he said, smiling slightly. Celestia's especially great. She blinked. Celestia? The oldest princess. She's actually the one who found me. See, I've been living in a cave for the last decade, and she saw me practicing my magic. She suggested I use my talents for good and offered me a home at the castle. I don't think I've ever met a nicer pony. Chrysalis felt a twinge of uneasiness in her stomach. So you say that Celestia is a good friend? I think so. Well, she says she is. She gulped. She pretty? He tapped his chin in thought. Well, by pony's standards, I think so. Oh, you should see her hair. It's the neatest shade of pink and it's flowing. No, really, it actually defies gravity. So chaotic. Chrysalis took a strand of her flat, greasy couple of hair in her hoof and scowled. Then she turned to Discord and cast a spell to make her see his loved ones. Her face grew hot when a white icon with flowing pink hair came up. It wasn't quite love, but the affection he held for Celestia was greater than what he felt for her. A new feeling started welling up within her, one she had never experienced before. Her blood was boiling, her face was flushing, her head was pounding. She had the urge to stuff that alicorn into dust. She felt jealousy. Pure, burning jealousy. So how have you been? Discord asked. Fine, Chrysalis said through her teeth. So, do you think anything serious might come with this, Celestia? He turned his head in thought. I don't know. You think I'd have a chance? She was heaving so hard. Steam blew out of her nostrils. You alright? Discord questioned. Fine, she snapped. Just fine. He shrugged and turned back to the parade. She followed his gaze and smirked as an idea occurred to her. You know, you don't have to do everything the princesses tell you. What do you mean? He asked. Well, it doesn't seem fair that you should only use magic at their request. You should be allowed to do what you want. You know, have a little fun. He twirled his fingers. Well, I don't mean do something destructive. I'm just saying you could spice things up a bit. That parade is rather boring, don't you think? He gets down to the procession. Well, those floats aren't nearly as colorful. I know. Ugh, that awful shade of brown on that one. Wouldn't it look better if it were pink? Discord says, rubbing his chin with a smile. You know, it probably would. He snapped his fingers and one of the floats turned pink. They could hear a few gasps in the crowd. How about confetti? Chrysalis suggested. Don't all parades have confetti? I haven't been to many, Discord declared. Do they? They should. He snapped his fingers and confetti began falling from the sky. The ponies shrieked and murmured in confusion. Great, Chrysalis applauded. But you know what would make this really phenomenal? You remember that chocolate rain you showed me? I'm sure the ponies would love to see chocolate milk fall from the sky. Hey, you're right! He snapped his fingers again, and pink clouds appeared over the town. The ponies screamed as brown rain started pouring on them. Discord and Chrysalis laughed hysterically. Oh, this is so much fun! Discord wailed. Why didn't I think of this sooner? Chrysalis smiled. You just needed the right inspiration. Oh, Celestia and Loon, I will love this! The princess frowned and then scowled. Then she let out a grunt as she got up and fled. Hey, where are you going? Disco called. The fun's just beginning! Chrissy! She ignored his shouts and kept flying until she reached the hive. When she burst into the room, she was in tears. Queen Arachne's eyes widened at the sight. Darling, what's the matter? Oh, Mother, Chris wailed, throwing her hooves around the queen. I feel awful. Shh, shh, her mother whispered, stroking her back. Tell me what happened. He won't stop talking about that Celestia. He said her hair was prettier than mine, and he loves her more than me. Oh, Chrissy, I warned you about this. You must never let your emotions rule you. But fear not, sweetheart. Once the Cressy is ours and the princess are disposed of, it can be yours. I feel so angry. Like I won't. What, my dear? Crystal narrowed her eyes and put away from her mother. I want to make him suffer, she said through her teeth. Arachne smiled. That's my girl. Screwball, Mothball, and Twilight had been following the hairbrush for 2 hours. They flew above the trees in order to shorten its journey as well as avoid danger below. Screwball had suggested teleporting ahead a little, but Twilight argued that if they teleported too far ahead, they'd have to fly around if they found the trail again. So while Twilight led the group, paying close attention to the brush, the engaged couple came with ways to pass the time. Is it bigger than a bread box? Screwball asked. Martha raised an eyebrow. A regular sized one or the one in our kitchen? That what? In our kitchen? Then yes. Is it a whale? Yes. Woohoo! That's 57 to 55. I win. The Genji groaned. Can we play something else? Wait, Twilight said, suddenly come to a stop. What? Screwball asked. Something's wrong. In front of them, the hairbrush was twisting and turning, pointing in one direction and then another. Strange, Twilight uttered. The brush can't seem to decide whether we should go south or southwest. Why is it doing that? Mothman inquired. I don't know. Maybe I did spell wrong, or then the brush stopped and moved in its chosen direction. I guess it's southwest, then, Screwball said as she followed it. It's too strange, Twilight muttered. I wonder what made it do that. Eventually, they stopped their pondering and continued on their journey. Mothball glanced at his fiancée and decided to say something that had been on his mind all day. Screwy, he said. Yeah, she replied with a smile.